It's time now to take a look through the international newspapers, and for that I'm joined by Nicholas Rushworth.
Hi,
Hello.
Claire.
Nick, what have you got to start off with?
Well, I'm going to start out with Syria and the Lebanese newspaper, Lebanon, just next to Syria, of course. And that paper is called L'Orient Le Jour, and it is headlining about the events over the weekend, the fire at the Aleppo souk. There you can see the headline, Syrian heritage in mourning, the Aleppo souk ravaged by fire. Now, Aleppo dates back to the 6th century. It was the third largest city in the Ottoman Empire after Istanbul and Cairo. Aleppo, the souk itself, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So what we're seeing now is absolutely horrendous, added to the other horrendous things that have happened in Syria. And the editorial in that paper is fuming. It is furious. Look at this. Les mains sales, dirty hands. And it says that everybody is guilty. The West, the international community, Iran, and of course Assad. So the Iranians are guilty because they're giving blanket support to Assad, and Russia and China are guilty for obstacling any response on behalf of the international community. So strong stuff there. We'll see perhaps more about that. It's always, obviously, the plight of individuals and people is painful, but actually seeing heritage like that go up in flames is also quite painful.
Now, you talked about an Arab autumn, but one comment writer is calling for an Arab spring. Haven't we had one already?
Well, yes. In that piece in L'Orient Le Jour, they were saying that with those divisions, we are in an Arab autumn. But in a piece in the International Herald Tribune, there's a comment by Tariq Ramadan, waiting for an Arab spring of ideas. Now, he is a controversial Islamic studies specialist. He's based at Oxford University in the United Kingdom. And he's saying time has come now for Muslims to stop blaming the West and past imperial and colonial events. He's saying the Muslims must jettison their posture as victims. It's the kind of thing we've heard before. He's saying the dichotomy of Islam versus the West is just no good for Muslims. What they need to think of now is a multipolar world, and in that multipolar world, there could actually be avenues towards even greater dependency on other powers. And so Muslims have to sort of break the mold in their thinking there.
Moving on now to coverage of those parliamentary elections in Georgia, and there's quite a bit of criticism of the president.
Well, Saakashvili was a long time the sort of golden boy of the Washington and Brussels. He was a hero of the Rose Revolution in 2003, and The Guardian is saying, look there, petals drop off the Rose Revolution. And it's saying, well, it sort of lists various examples of growing authoritarianism from his part. And at the end of that piece states that, well, Saakashvili steps down next year as president. Constitutional changes mean that the role of the president is no longer so important. Real power is in the hands of the prime minister, and who could become the prime minister but none other than Saakashvili himself. And now, who does that remind you of? And The Guardian says, well, Vladimir Putin. Surely not.
Now, there's one piece that refers to Saakashvili's tragedy.
Well, this is by the writer Charles Fairbanks in The Atlantic, and he details examples of corruption, specific ones pertinent to him specifically. He says in writing his words, he actually is in fear. He is saying that what has happened over recent days has been this opposition television release of a prison rape scandal, and this has kind of skewed the campaign slightly against Saakashvili. We'll see whether the results in Georgia do lead towards that. But the writer there is saying, well, this prison rape event is not a one-off. It is a reflection of the deeper crisis that is permeating the whole political system in Georgia. So again, an indictment there of one-time golden boy Saakashvili.
And we're going to end with a piece that caught your eye in The Independent.
Well, the grey planet, incredibly, 1 billion people will be over 60 by the end of the decade. There were just 1 billion people on the planet in 1900. And here it's a look at examples in Japan of the grey matter at work, and one nice story in there about this aging phenomenon is that a 73-year-old Japanese woman was the first person was the oldest woman in May to actually climb Everest. So she's saying, well, I'm ready for another 10 years of hiking. So that's an example for us all there.
All right, thank you very much, Nicholas.